Welcome to Sports for Casuals episode 2. On today's episode, we're going to be recapping the action-packed week 2 of college football. We're going to be going over some of the big upsets that occurred like Mississippi State, Arizona State, USF Florida, and some other big matchups that happened. We're also going to be talking week 3. We're going to be going over some fun matchups for this weekend. We'll be talking Georgia, Tennessee, Miami, USF, some of those games because it's action-packed. This is going to be an absolutely loaded weekend of college football this week, boys. And then we're also going to be talking some NFL. We're going to be previewing week 1, going over some of the recaps, some of the stuff that happened this weekend. We'll also be talking week 2, some of those matchups, preview those. We'll be talking Packers, Commanders. We'll be talking Chiefs, Eagles, all those big matchups. I'm super pumped up. And last but not least, we are going to do our dogs of the week. It's 5 dogs of the week. I'm super pumped up for that. This is going to be an absolutely loaded episode. As always, if it's your first time seeing me, make sure to click that subscribe button. It would really help me out. Follow the socials. That would be much appreciated. But let's start the show off right, man. Let's talk the biggest upset of the weekend, Florida, USF. Florida, USF was crazy. The Bulls went into the swamp. They said, we're right into the swamp. And that's exactly what Biden, Brown, and company did. The defense for USF was absolutely ridiculous. They have not allowed a touchdown. Listen to this. They have not allowed a touchdown on a full drive. I mean full drive, like for 25-yard line. Something that started on their side of the field all year. They have the one touchdown they allowed versus Boise was off a push on the 30-yard line. Their own 30-yard line. They got stuffed, and then obviously off the punt return by Vernell Brown. So guys, that is ridiculous. The USF Bulls defense has to be one of the best defenses in the country. You limit that offense with that firepower that the Florida Gators have on offense. You know, you got DJ Lagley, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And the offense for USF, they did a good job not to lose the game. They made smart football plays. And in the end, they got the game-winning field goal. It was a crazy game. Undisciplined penalties by the end of the game cost Florida. And now Florida has Murderer's Row coming up, guys. They play LSU, Miami, Texas, and Texas A&M. Those are 4 tough games. You play LSU. I'm pretty sure they're playing LSU on the road. You play the Miami at Hard Rock. You know how that place gets when there's a big game. You're going to play Texas at home and then Texas A&M Kyle Field. That is tough places to play, man. This is going to be a big test for Billy Napier. I see that he's a bye week after the Miami game. If he goes 0-2 here, there's a possibility that Billy Napier gets canned, which would be absolutely crazy. And you got to think, if he gets canned, what is Lagway and friends going to do? There's a whole lot of stuff that can happen to this Florida Gators football team. And college football, man, it is drama. You look at the Gators, though, they have the talent to win. I don't know what it is. I think coaching and just dumb penalties cost them that last game. Alex Golish coached a great game for USF. He's a great coach, one of the best coaches. He's definitely going to have some Power 4 offers. I wonder if he will stick with the Bulls, but man, this Bulls team is special. They're looking to run the group of 5, and I do think that they will. I've said it for weeks that they will be the playoff team in the group of 5. You know, how they looked versus Boise, who ended up painting, 60 on Eastern Washington the next week. And then you look at how they played Florida. If they can go to an SEC environment and win a game like that, I don't care if it's the worst SEC team, which Florida is far from the worst SEC team. They are a squad, and now they get to play Miami. They are 17.5-point dogs. That game's going to be interesting. We'll talk about that game in a second here. Let's go over some more games that occurred this weekend. Florida Gators, USF, what a game. Biden Brown put the team on his back, made big plays, had a big long touchdown, and he just played very smart, didn't turn the ball over, and that's how they won the game. They didn't lose the game for themselves. They made Florida beat them, which is crazy. When you're the lower-ranked team, usually you're going to have to go and beat the other team, but they made all the smart plays, and Florida beat themselves, and that's how USF won the football game. But now let's look at Mississippi versus Arizona State. Mississippi State versus Arizona State, 2 state colleges. And you look at this game. 17-3 at halftime. Arizona State scores 17 unanswered in the second half. Everything looks good. It looks like the Arizona States are going to escape Mississippi with a W. And then the bomb. Zero blitz at the end of the game. They had no timeouts. I'm not the biggest fan of that. Why not keep the safety overhead? I don't know. The problem is with this play, I'm not even that mad about the play call from Coach Dillingham and friends, because Coach Dillingham, he knows what he's doing. Obviously, that was part of their thing. They don't want the quarterback to get time. They don't want to give Mississippi State time to make the big throw there. And unfortunately, the blitzer fell. Or he would have got home there, and one-on-one coverage. These athletes in the SEC are different, and Arizona State got burnt. But Sam Levitt really has not looked like himself there. He has not looked very good these first couple weeks, and Arizona State has definitely stumbled out of the gate. They are not looking like that same Arizona State team from last season. So, they get the Army running back transfer in, but Cam Scottabell's presence is definitely missed on that team. It's going to be interesting to see how they respond and react to that, because That's a tough L, man. That's a tough L. You're 12th in the country. All the momentum, all the vibes are Arizona State has it. Arizona State has a coach that wants to win. Arizona State has all this going for them. And then you drop the game to Mississippi State. That's a tough one. But I'm confident that they will bounce back. I think Coach Stoneham is one of the best coaches in the country. You look at all that, and I think that Arizona State will be fine. Mississippi State, on the other hand, though, 2-0. 2-0 for State. They look good. They beat a ranked opponent. And guys, that is a huge win for the trajectory of the program. You know, Mike Leach would be proud of this Mississippi State team. You know, those are big W's, man. Those can make or break coaches. Those can make or break seasons. And you pull off that win in Mississippi State, you give the fans something to cheer about. And that place was annoying. I'm not gonna lie. As a casual viewer of Mississippi State, I haven't really watched too much of Mississippi State. Those Cowbells, man, I can't even imagine coaching because that would just be ridiculous. But Arizona State, the Mississippi State made it difficult for Arizona State. I will say the fans definitely played into the environment. One of the best environments of college football with the Cowbells. And Mississippi State, man, they played very, very good. And that's why they deserve the W. They deserve the W. And they're looking to compete in the SEC and possibly make a bowl game this year and, you know, improve upon last season. And then you look at Iowa versus Iowa State. Iowa versus Iowa State, man, is such an interesting game because these two teams hate each other. You don't know it. You don't know it when you're not really paying attention to these teams, but if you were in the state of Iowa, they hate each other. They hate each other. You see it on X, you see it on all that. These teams hate each other. They despise each other. You look at that and you're like, damn, these teams really do not like each other whatsoever. It's funny because, you know, you never really know. I'm from Florida, so I never really pay attention to Iowa versus Iowa State, but I pay attention to this year, man. And it's a great rivalry. You get the Cyhawk. All the fans are into it. It's an awesome game, and Iowa really impressed me, if I'm being honest with you. They made it dirty. At one point in the game, I thought Iowa State was going to blow them out, and then Iowa really made this game dirty, which played to their advantage, and I'm surprised they didn't get out there with the win, honestly. If we're being completely honest with you, I thought Iowa State made it their brand of football and Iowa made it their brand of football and how they play, whereas Iowa State is more of a finesse team, in my opinion, and they aren't playing that dirty brand of football like Iowa likes to play. You guys know how Iowa likes to play. They like to run the ball, they like to be physical up front, and like to dominate the trenches, and I felt like they were really starting to do that. It looked like Iowa was not going to get off the field. It looked like Iowa State was starting to get a little dominated there, but Iowa State, Rocco Beck made a great play, and their kicker nailed a game-winning field goal. That's something you dream of, guys, for Iowa and Iowa State. Jeez, I'm confusing these two teams, but Iowa State, beautiful play, and that's really how you do it, man. That's how you do it. That's how you get the vibes rolling. I mean, Iowa State's ranked. They're 3-0. They look great. You know, Iowa State is just this program that has so much talent. They've had talent. They've produced many of NFL players. And you guys got to start to put respect on Iowa State, man. They are a very good football team. They have a very good quarterback. Obviously, when you're going into Iowa in a rivalry game, the stats are going to be the greatest, but they escape what they win, and they defend home turf versus their rival. They keep the Cyhawk, which that is very good for that's very good for Iowa State. Jeez, man, come on. How are you supposed to talk ball and you can't even remember the teams? But Iowa State played a heck of a game. Iowa, I thought, was really going to win that game. I was really confident in them towards the end of the game. I mean, obviously, my pick before was Iowa State, but, you know, Iowa made that game dirty, and that's what Iowa wants to do. So I really was surprised that they ended up losing that game. But, you know, Iowa State is a very good football team, so there's nothing really to be, you know, discouraged about because that is a dogfight right there. We're going to talk Oklahoma, Michigan. This game, in my opinion, John Mateer played an absolutely fabulous game. He made a lot of great plays. But I want to talk about Michigan more so. Oklahoma is a very good team. They should be able to compete in the SEC this year, which they haven't been able to do in their, last year. And, you know, the past couple of years of Coach Venables, they really haven't shown that, but they are showing that they are a team. They are showing that they are a team, and they have one of the best quarterbacks in the country, John Mateer. He played absolutely awesome. He looks phenomenal. You look at the defense. The defense is a very tough unit, especially for a freshman in a night game on the road. Bryce Underwood had a lot of trouble there, and honestly, to be honest with you, it feels like they're scared to take the training wheels off. They're scared to take the training wheels off this guy. This guy, Bryce Underwood, is a freak of nature. He is a unit. He's massive. He is fast. He can do it all. I feel like you got to take the training wheels off, man. I know he's young. He's going to make mistakes. It's going to happen, but I feel like you invest so much in that quarterback. You have to let him learn. You cannot be willing to be like, all right, throw the 5 yards, you know, be very smart, screens, all that stuff, because eventually at the end of the day, this guy is a game breaker. You would not be willing to pay him that NIL money. You wouldn't have recruited him so hard if you didn't think that he was a game breaker. He has all the tools. I know the Michigan's receiver room is but you got to be able to give the guy a chance. The guy is a phenomenal football player, and he can make plays. He'll make plays. He's that good. You got to take the training wheels off, and that was my big takeaway from that game. Oklahoma, I'm excited to watch the rest of the season because they are a team that I really think is good. And Michigan, I'm excited to see the Bryce Underwood's development, how they play in Big Ten conference play. It's going to be exciting to see how they do this year and if they can improve. Obviously, they have the talent there. It's just a question of how will they do it. Now, Sharon Moore is going to be suspended for this game, so it's going to be interesting to see how they're coached and whatnot, and how they play versus Western Michigan. I expect them to win, but it's always interesting to see that stuff, especially because, his coaches getting suspended and whatnot. You never know how the team's going to play. Another game that we have to talk about is Duke versus Illinois. Duke versus Illinois. All right. Crazy. A lot of people said Illinois was going to lose that football game to Duke. Duke was at home. They have a talented quarterback, and everybody thought that was going to happen. I actually thought that was going to happen at one point during the game. I mean, my pick before the game was Illinois to win and cover, but I look at Duke, and then I see the talented quarterback that they have. But Illinois is a true complete football team. They're a complete football team, and Duke really lost that game, in my opinion. Duke had too many turnovers. When you're playing a ranked team like Illinois, you're going to have to play a complete football game, and they definitely did not do that. That game of football was definitely not complete. They were sloppy, too many turnovers in the red zone, and that's how you lose football games versus ranked opponents. They played very good, but, just too many crucial mistakes really cost them that game. And Illinois, credit to them. They played very smart. They played efficient. They didn't panic at all when they were losing. Credit to them, credit to the coaching staff, credit to all of Illinois, man, because they played a heck of a game, and they showed why they're ranked. That was a good Duke team. That's going to be a good Duke team. I wouldn't be surprised if they're ranked towards the end of the year. They have talent all over the team. Good coaching, so I would be very surprised if that is not a ranked W for Illinois at the end of the year. And Illinois is really trying to, prove themselves in that loaded Big Ten with Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, the Big Three. They're trying to prove themselves, and they're trying to say, hey, we're not the same old Illinois as we were. We are a good football team, and we're going to prove it this year. And I'm excited to see how they do when Big Ten conference play starts. And then you look at what? You look at Duke, ACC, a very open ACC in my opinion. Clemson has not looked very good these last 2 weeks. You look at Clemson, struggled with Troy, didn't look very good versus LSU. And then you look at some other teams. You look at Florida State, who they beat Alabama, but we haven't seen them play other teams besides Alabama. So we don't know really how good Florida State is. They are a big question mark to me because they have talent. We know that. But the question is how are they going to play versus teams not named Alabama. Miami, on the other hand, they beat Notre Dame. They beat Bethune-Cookman, obviously. And now they have a test this weekend, USF. So you get to look at all that. The ACC is very much open, in my opinion. They are a team that can compete. And they could be a team that competes in the ACC. So I'm excited to see that. But you look at all this, it was a crazy weekend. There's a lot of big games that happened. And I'm super happy because it was fun. It was a lot of fun to watch. And man, I'm excited for next weekend because we have some games that we are going to go over right now. We got to start with Miami versus USF next week. This is a big game. The USF Bulls have the best resume in the country, in my opinion, taking down a ranked Florida Gators team in the swamp, also taking down a ranked Boise State team. Easily, if you were breaking blind and you look at these resumes, that would be my opinion for the best team in the country right now off of record and resume. But they're playing a different animal, man. The U might be back. You look at Miami, you got Mario Cristobal leading the way in his year 4, and his recruits are finally starting to ball. You got Carson Beck, a known winner. He's only lost 3 games in his college career. You have the dominant running game. You have the dominant offensive line led by Francis Maluga. You have the defense led by Ruben Bain, and you have all these studs. A great defensive coordinator who came over from Minnesota. He is going to be a guy that could be a potential head coach in a year or two. So you look at all that, and you say, all right, Miami's better. On paper, they're the better football team. They have the better defense, better offense, probably better special teams. I don't know about kicker, man. The Granada family does not mess with kickers. We look at this game, and you say Miami's a more talented football team. No, without a doubt, Miami's more talented than USF. But what does USF have? They have a bunch of damn canines. The Bulls are rolling, man. They have a great coach in Alex Golish, who is a stud of a coach, should be a Power 4 coach, should be easily a Power 4 coach. You have a great quarterback in Byron Brown who can extend plays. He's a playmaker. You have a receiving core full of talent. You have a defense that's hungry and just swarms to the football. You have a bunch of studs there. And you look at the team. You look at the teams, and you say, all right, Miami's the better team. Miami should win this game. But then you look at USF, and you're like, damn. That's a bunch of dogs. They play. They're not going to quit, and they won't quit. You look at that, and you say, all right, it's a tough game. The Hurricanes got a team, man, that is hungry. They're ranked. They're coming off 2 wins, and they're trying to prove themselves as a potential playoff team this season. But I really like the Hurricanes in this matchup. I don't like 17.5. That's a lot of points to lay on a very good USF team. But the point is, the spread is really high for a reason. I think that everyone thinks that USF is going to hang around and beat Miami because they beat Florida, they beat Boise State, but this ain't the same old Miami. I'll tell you that right now. This ain't the same old Miami team that was led by Manny Diaz. This is a Hurricanes team that is hungry to prove that they can win. They've been recruited for a reason. I think that Mario Cristobal is really starting to turn it all around. I like Miami minus 17.5 here. I think they get the job done. I easily think that they win. 17.5 is a lot of points, don't get me wrong, but I think the Hurricanes can potentially win by a lot of points. They did it last year, and I know. But I think this Hurricanes team is better than last year. I think USF is better, but this Hurricanes team is one of the best teams in the country. I think they're going to prove that this weekend. They're at home. Hard Rock is sold out. I expect that this is going to be an absolutely insane environment once again. Night game or midday game for some odd reason, but I expect Miami, all of Miami to be there, all of the legends. Give me Miami minus 17.5 versus USF. Then we'll look at Florida versus LSU. The Gators are coming off a loss, but they are going into Baton Rouge, Death Valley, the real Death Valley, and they are going to play LSU, one of the best teams in the country, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and Garrett Nussmeier, a defense that is hungry, that is very, very hungry. You look at all that, you're like, damn, this is a tough matchup for the Gators. This is a very tough matchup. Minus 7.5 on the spread. I like minus 6.5 by LSU. I think they beat them by a touchdown. I don't know if they're going to beat them down, but LSU has played in a lot of close games. Don't get me wrong. Last week, you look at the game, you're like, damn, LA Tech hung around a little. They hung around a little. You look at Florida, who played Long Island, lost to USF. I feel like they are hungry. All the money will be on LSU to cover 7.5 points, don't get me wrong. So I think that Florida really could cover, but if I had to bet my life on it, I would take LSU minus 6.5. I like the defense. I like the quarterback. I think they have the better quarterback. I think that they have the better offensive line. I think that the defenses are very close to. I think Florida's defense goes under the wire. I think that they have a lot of talented players on the Florida defense, and I think that Florida can keep it close, but the question is, will Billy Napier's coaching allow it to be close? Or will Brian Kelly run laps around Billy Napier? That's the question that we have. Death Valley, though, at night, that is a tough place to play. So LSU will win this game. They are not going to lose at Death Valley at night. Then we'll talk about a biggest game of the weekend, in my opinion. Biggest game of the weekend, Tennessee, Georgia. The Dogs are trying to defend home turf versus the Vols, man. The Vols. The Vols with Joey Aguilar, who's like pretty darn good in that Tennessee uniform. Played a great game against Syracuse, East Tennessee State, did his thing, and now he has a chance to beat the Georgia Bulldogs. 3.5 point spread in favor of Georgia, and he's the best Georgia quarterback in a minute, or Tennessee quarterback in a minute. But you look at Georgia. Now, obviously, they have the defense talent. They're led by Gunnar Stockton, and here is a big test for Gunnar here. He has a very, very good Georgia team around him, but can he take down the Vols? The Vols have a very good defense. They have speed on the outside. They have a very solid running back. This is going to be a heck of a game, and this game is minus 3.5 for Georgia, and obviously at home in Athens. I don't know, man. This is a tough one to pick. When you look at these teams, you see both very talented rosters. I think Kirby Smart is a better coach. I think he's better than Heupel, but I don't know, man. Tennessee, Joey Aguilar has made me a fan, man. He is an awesome player. He's an awesome dude to watch, and I think that he can extend plays, and he plays good. But Gunnar Stockton ain't no joke. If Kirby Smart did not like Gunnar Stockton, he would have a different quarterback. Georgia is very talented. They have the ability to recruit. He likes Gunnar Stockton, and he's won national championships, so it's hard to bet against what Kirby Smart thinks here, and I am going to take Georgia. Take Georgia to win. I don't know about cover 3.5, but if I had to bet my life on it, I would take Georgia to win this ball game. We'll look at the Cox. South Carolina, ranked 11th in the country versus Vanderbilt. This spread is what? This spread is 5.5 points in favor of South Carolina. You look at this game. This is going to be an interesting game because Diego Pavia and friends. Vanderbilt looks good. They just won by 24 points versus a very powerful Virginia Tech team, a same team that South Carolina struggled with. They are in South Carolina, though, so South Carolina will be rocking. They'll be playing Sandstorm all night long, so you have to deal with that. But, man, Vanderbilt is a tough team to bet against. They have talent to win, and this could possibly be the game. This could be the game where Vanderbilt really proves himself and says, Diego Pavia is for real here. He did against Alabama last year, but can he take down another top 15 team here? Who knows? Vanderbilt has talent. They've improved. They have one of the best teams in the country. Have a solid team, but South Carolina has the best quarterback in the country, Lenore Sellers. So much fun to watch. He's electrifying with the ball in his hands. He has an arm. So you look at all that and you're like, damn, this is going to be an interesting game. And honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I would bet, man, I'm leaning towards Vanderbilt plus 5.5. I'm being honest with you. I think they have the chance to outright win. I think Pavia and friends are a really good squad. And South Carolina, in my opinion, is not the most complete team. Their defense still looks they are very, very much lost, and the offensive line isn't the best in my opinion. When you look at Vanderbilt, they're returning a bunch of players, whereas South Carolina had a lot of production lost to the NFL. I'm going to take Vanderbilt plus 5.5 here. I don't know who wins, but I think that Vanderbilt will keep it in one-score territory. Now, let's talk another game. Notre Dame versus Texas A&M. Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish out of South Bend, Indiana, look to bounce back after a Week 1 loss to Miami Hurricanes at Texas A&M. Marcel Reed and friends go into that rowdy South Bend Notre Dame. They go to South Bend, Notre Dame, very rowdy. Going to be a crazy game, probably at night. Look at this. You see Marcel Reed, dynamic playmaker with the ball in his hands, versus a Notre Dame team that's pissed off they lost to the Hurricanes. They felt like they played a great fourth quarter, and I already know who I'm rolling with. I'm rolling with Notre Dame minus 6.5. I love this because you look at this Notre Dame team is hungry. They are pissed off. They feel like they played a great fourth quarter. Just things just didn't go their way versus Miami, man. Now they're coming off a bye week. They're well rested. And I think that they are going to give Marcel Reed some problems. I think that they're going to be tough. I think Jeremiah Love's going to take over this game. And I like Notre Dame here. I think they bounce back in a big way. I think Miami is just that good. I think that Notre Dame is also a very good team, and they're going to get better throughout the course of the season. CJ Carr looked comfortable towards the end of the game. And if they can get that CJ Carr, without a doubt, they will beat this Texas A&M football team. And now we have 2 more games left. We're going to talk Clemson versus Georgia Tech. 3.5-point spread. Georgia Tech is at home. I'm leaning Georgia Tech. I know. Clemson has all the talent, and Clemson should really win this game. But the way that they've been playing, I just cannot bet on Clemson. I just can't look at Clemson and be like, this team's going to win. They've struggled with Troy, lost to LSU. Caleb Klubnik just has not looked good at all. He's looked very inconsistent, and he could go out there and dominate the game. Don't get me wrong. If he does do that, I would not be surprised. But you look at this, and you're like, all right, is this dude really going to do it? He's played bad these last 2 weeks. Is he going to step up when it matters most? He could. But Haynes Kings and friends are not messing around. That Georgia Tech team is legit as they come. And Haynes Kings is one of the most underrated quarterback in the country. He is fun to watch. He's fun to watch. Great with the ball in his hand. He's like a fullback, dude. He would be perfect on Army. But Haynes King can also sling the rock. And Georgia Tech, I think, will pull off the upset this week. I'm not that high on Clemson anymore. They have a very talented defense. Don't get me wrong, led by Peter Woods. But they have the team to win. But it just feels like Clemson. Rome is starting to fall. It feels like everything is collapsing around them. They just have not played that standard in years. And I just don't see this Clemson team beating this Georgia Tech team who's ultra talented. And last but not least, we're going to talk some Coach Prime. We're going to talk some Coach Prime here. We'll talk them versus Houston. They are starting their third-string quarterback style this week. And then, Houston is a Big 12 team. Mostly a basketball school, but the football program is getting a lot better. They're 5.5-point favorites over Colorado. And I'm going to back Colorado here. I don't know too much about Houston, but I've watched them play last year. They weren't very good. Actually, Houston is led by Connor Wegman, if I'm correct, who is a talented quarterback. I know that about them, but it's just, I think that Coach Prime gets it done, man. Coach Prime is not messing around. I like that. I think that this team is really hungry to win. They have talent all over the field. They are a very good team. I don't know what we're getting with Staub, though, but I'm going to back Colorado here. I'm very excited to see this game. Like I said, this would be my least confident pick of the week. I have not watched too much of either team. I watched a little of Colorado, week 1 when they played Georgia Tech, but haven't tuned in Houston this year. No, they have Connor Wegman, but talented football team, I'm sure. But I'm going to put my money on Coach Prime with this pick. I'm taking Colorado here. That's going to be a very good weekend of college football. We have a couple insane matchups, man. I'm super pumped up for college football. But now it is time to talk Kane. It's time to talk NFL here. We're going to go over week 1. The Bills and the Ravens was easily the game of the week, man. It lived up to all expectations. The Ravens looked like they had the game won in the fourth quarter, but Josh Allen said not today. And they defend home turf against the Baltimore Ravens. Can we talk about that really quick? What a game. I'm a Dolphins fan. You see from the jersey back there, but I got to give credit where credit's due. Josh Allen is awesome. He is an awesome player, and he led the team. Imagine if you gave him a guy like Stephon Diggs, but Josh Allen and the Bills offense got going really in the fourth quarter. They hung, 16 points up on the Ravens. They played a great game, and they didn't panic. When they didn't get the 2-point conversion, they didn't panic. They stayed calm. They trusted the defense. The defense got them off the field, and the rest is history, man. Josh Allen, he's like Tom Brady. You cannot give the ball back to him. I've seen it as a Dolphins fan, man. That guy will win the game. He's clutch as nails. Or nails? He's clutch. He's clutch, but he makes great plays, and credit to him. On the Ravens side of the ball, Derrick Henry dominated. Besides the fumble at the end of the game, he was nearly perfect. Unfortunately, that game will be remembered for the fumble because he ran for nearly 200 yards. Lamar Jackson also had a great game. Zay Flowers too. And you look at the Bills The Bills were really, I mean, it was just a shootout. It was just a shootout, man. But the Bills defense stepped up when they needed it most. And Matt Prater off the red eye hits the game-winning field goal. You cannot write a better story than that. Hollywood needs a script. Matt Prater is a damn legend. And the Bills win the game, and that was easily the game of the week. Credit to both teams, though. Both teams hopefully will see each other again. Hopefully we'll get another game close to that because that was one heck of a game. Now we got to talk Chiefs and Chargers. There we go. Chiefs, Chargers. Man, that was a ugly showing for the Chiefs. Their secondary looked completely lost. The offense really didn't get going until late. And Justin Herbert looked great, man. Justin Herbert made some great reads. He was able to move. He was very mobile. And he looked a lot better. I mean, he started moving different since he started dating Madison Beer, man. He looked awesome. You look at Justin Herbert. You look at Chargers, man, and they looked pretty darn good. Marion Hampton got majority of the workload. Did have the best game, but he still played solid. Quentin Johnson was catching them passes, man. He was catching the passes, which is good. If that can happen, this is going to open up a ton for Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen. The Chargers offense can be very dangerous if that can happen. And they are a run-first team. Keep that in mind. Marion Hampton will be fed. The Chargers they look very good. Imagine if they had Rashawn Slater. This would be dangerous. But Joe Alt played a heck of a game. No one will talk about it because he's an offensive lineman. But he played a heck of a game for the Chargers this week. Give credit where credit's due. Joe Alt's always protecting Justin Herbert. So, he is a damn dog. He's going to be a potential All-Pro. I'm excited to see how our career turns out because he is just a fun player to watch. Now, we'll talk Eagles and Cowboys. Eagles-Cowboys. Look at this game. This game was interesting to me. In my opinion, I think the Cowboys should have won. I know. I think the Cowboys should have won, though. They had a ton of opportunities. CeeDee Lamb just couldn't come down with any crucial passes. Dak Prescott played a great game. It just got wasted. Jalen Carter's spin on Dak was definitely something. That was something. I don't want to go into what happened, I think, and whatnot, but that was just something. I know Dak spit at the ground and whatnot, but that was just crazy. That whole instance, spin on another man is just weak, in my opinion. I think that it really is just a weak sign, and I think that, both sides were kind of in the wrong a little. I don't really think spinning at the ground at somebody is really just the best way to start the game. But, I mean, Jalen Carter probably thought he was trying to spit on him. But at the end of the day, you just can't lose your cool, especially when you're the best defensive player on your team. And you can't afford to spit on somebody else in broad, game light where everybody's going to see it. Like, you got to be very smart there. And that was just very dumb of him, very selfish. But, the Eagles did find a way to win without him. They'll get him back. And then you look at the Cowboys, a lot of positives to look at that game. Their pass rush was abysmal. Their pass rush could not get home whatsoever. But the rush defense actually was not that bad. Besides not being able to stop Jalen Hurts running, they actually didn't get murdered by Saquon Barkley. They looked a lot better there. And then the secondary played a very good game on A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. They took them out of the game and they made Jalen Reagor beat them. So some positives for the Cowboys. I mean, obviously Dak looked very good coming back from injury. So you have all that, guys. So there is some positive takeaway from that game for the Cowboys. The Eagles played their brand of football and that's just dominating the trenches. And that's exactly what they did to win the game, and that's how it was, man. And there you go. So the Eagles win the game. That's a recipe for success, and they did it very well. Excited to see them versus the Chiefs this weekend. But gotta talk Sunday football, man. You see the jersey back there. I gotta get used to that. But you see the jersey back there. Dolphins, Colts. We gotta get this out of the way. This one hurts. This one was like watching my dog die as a Dolphins fan. Being genuinely honest. I mean, it hurt to watch because I grew up with this team. I was a young kid when we started tanking with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I was a freshman in high school when he drafted Tua. But, man, like on a real note, that game was it was like seeing my world fall apart because you hear everything about the team, Going into the year, you hear, oh, this team's going to suck, this team's awful. But you want to believe as a fan, you believe you have an elite front seven. You believe that, the offensive line improved. You believe that Tua can make stuff happen. He's done it before. You see A-Chain talented. You see Tyreek Hill, one of the best receivers in football. You see Waddle, who's an ultra-talented receiver too. You see all the talent on this team. And then you go out there and you get completely dominated by the Indianapolis Colts. You can't get them off the field. They score in every single possession. You score in garbage time on a swing pass to A-Chain. A-Chain, this literally doesn't pertain to you because A-Chain really is the only guy that shows up week in and week out in balls and does his thing. A-Chain is the most consistent player on the Dolphins, and he's a player, and I hope that, whatever happens, he stays with us because he is so much fun to watch, and A-Chain is awesome. So, but everybody else, man, you get the right side of the offensive line. Austin Jackson, our whole offensive line as starters played 3 plays together. 3 plays together already hurt, which fits the Dolphins because they're always hurt. You get Jonas Salvador, who actually played a very good game in his first start. He played very solid. Patrick Paul. Those guys, Aaron Brewer, I'm not talking about, but you sign guys. You sign James Daniels, and he comes in and plays 3 plays. Like, come on, dude. You sign Austin Jackson to an extension. Come on. Gets hurt, man. Tua's blindside. Tua gets cracked multiple times this game. You look at this game, and it's just sad. it's genuinely sad because it's what everybody's saying. It's you think that these guys know more than us, but the Dolphins have been pointing out, fans have been pointing out the offensive line, and they refuse to draft a high offensive lineman that can help out their team. They refuse to invest in free agency. It's always these flashy diamonds, but they don't have the damn salary to do it, man. All they care about is flash. They're putting up to Lambeau, but they're living in the hood. They don't have the talent. They don't have the damn talent inside in a physical game of football. How are you going to go to Kansas City in January and play a wildcard playoff game and you just don't have talent to run the ball? You don't have all of that, man. You don't have that at all. It just kills your team. It kills everything that your team's about because you don't have a true identity. When stuff gets taken away, it's difficult. Tua cannot throw past his first read. We're always hurt. Waddle can't take a hit. And it's like, this is the soft football team that you built. And it's sad to watch because, as a kid, I grew up with this team. I want to root for this team. I want to believe that everything is good, but it's not good in South Beach. It's not good in Miami Gardens. And the Dolphins there's a rebuild coming. And, you got to look at it like that. Tua just isn't it. He's limited as a quarterback. Love the guy as a person, man. He's an awesome guy, but, he's limited as a quarterback. And the Tua Tagovailoa experience is over in Miami, unfortunately. As a guy that I grew up watching, it's done. And then the defense, don't get me started on the defense not being able to get any pressure on them because it is sad. I expect the Miami Dolphins to fully be, committed to a tank by mid-October. I expect that to happen. I expect a lot of key pieces to be traded away because this team is just awful, man. And I don't know what's next for them. But we got to give credit where credit is due. If you look at the Colts, Daniel Jones played a heck of a game. Probably the best game of his career. They were able to dominate the line of scrimmage. Their offensive line looked great. The defensive line was able to get pressure. The secondary knew what Tua was going to do, and they played a great game defensively. They only allowed a garbage time score. The Colts look great. You got to give credit where credit's due. And maybe the Colts are back, man. They look like they're not messing around. They look like a very good team. So credit to the Colts because they played very, very solid. And, I'm excited to see how they play versus the Broncos this weekend because that is going to be a very good game. Now, we got to talk Ben Johnson's debut. We got to talk about Bears versus Vikings. J.J. McCarthy, Ben Johnson, bunch of debuts, but key takeaway from this game was Ben Johnson was wildly outclassed by Kevin O'Connell. We can all confirm that, challenge management, timeout management. The team had too many penalties. They were undisciplined, whereas Kevin O'Connell's team was not penalized as much. They played a very, very efficient brand of football. Didn't make too many dumb mistakes like the Bears did, but man, the Bears they struggled. Too many penalties will cost you the game and too many crucial mistakes. The missed field goal, you had that, the bad challenge, and then obviously at the end of the game, you score, you have a chance, you have a chance at 2 stoppages with a 2-minute warning, you kick it to the guy. Your kicker is not the strongest leg in football, but you kick it to the guy, you try and get him to kick it out of the end zone. When you can just kick it sideways, take it the 45-yard line. If they pick up a first down regardless, it's game over. I mean, I don't really see the risk reward in trying to get them to take the 35-yard line. It's 10 yards. The game's over if they don't give up that 5 or the 10 yards. So I don't understand that at all, but you have 2 stoppages, can give Caleb Williams a chance. But Caleb Williams looked great in the first half. He looked like it was his coming out party. It looked like everything was going good. And then the second half, man, he had a lot of inaccuracy issues. A lot of guys were running open, but he just could not find them. Unfortunately for Caleb Williams, he played an all right game. I wouldn't blame the game on him, but you expect better out of him. And J.J. McCarthy, though. J.J. McCarthy in his first start for the Vikings, he picked up. Man. In the first 3 quarters, he looked completely lost. But that 4th quarter, something changed. After the pick 6, he got really, really comfortable. He was like, all right, I made my mistake. I'm good. We're going to eat. And that's exactly what he did. The whole team ate. He started feeding Justin Jefferson. He got everyone into the game. And that's how you win a ball game. Great game from J.J. McCarthy because he bounced back, and that was needed from him. That guy's a winner. He's lost 3 games since, I think about it, he's been 14 years old. So J.J. McCarthy, look at that. He's a young guy with a ton of potential under Kevin O'Connell. I'm excited to see that, man, because that Vikings team is ultra talented. If he just has to play smart brand of football, not turn the ball over, hit his star receivers, and he is going to be A-okay because he is a guy that, he's in such a great situation with the Vikings. So credit to J.J. McCarthy, man, and I'm excited to see more Vikings football later on this year. Now, when you look at this one was definitely a very weird game. Steelers-Jets. Who would have thought a shootout between these teams? They have 2 elite defenses. You have Quincy Williams, Sauce Gardner on the Quincy Williams too. Quincy Williams, a damn dog. Pay that man his respect. And then on the Steelers, you have T.J. Watt, Jalen Ramsey. You have all the talent on that defense. And you look at that game, and you're like, what the heck? 32 or 33-31. How is this? How did this happen? I have no idea, but the offenses look great. Justin Fields looked the best he's looked in his NFL career. He looked very comfortable. He made a lot of great throws. They were doing stuff that he was familiar with. It's stuff where he was really just comfortable. You could tell he was really, really comfortable. And then you look at Look at Aaron Rodgers. He played a very good game. They gave him time. He had a bunch, and I mean a bunch of big plays for them. DK Metcalf in his first start played pretty solid. Jonas Smith made a couple plays. Team looked pretty darn good, the Steelers, I will say. And they can add some more talent to that receiver room. This is a team with a big threat, in my opinion. They have the defense. The defense just didn't have it. But they have a bunch of talent in Pittsburgh. But both teams look good. I'm excited to see, how they continue to get better. I'm excited to see this Aaron Glenn Jets team. I'm excited to see how Mike Tomlin and friends can do it. Can they get over the 98 hump? And can they make the push that they've been trying to do for years? This is the best team that they've had in years since AB, Ben, and Le'Veon. But can they do it? That's something that we're going to answer right here. I'm excited to see this year, and I'm excited to see how the Steelers do when they start to play the Ravens or the Bengals, because those are going to be some very fun matchups. The Bengals, speaking of the Bengals, they barely survived. Barely survived versus a Browns team. I thought it would happen. You look at that game and you see, all right, the Browns are at home. They always play divisional opponents well. You see all that, Joe Flacco. You see that, and you're like, all right, this is a trap game. The Bengals always lose these for opening games. They almost lost, but they hung on. Chase Brown played a pretty good game. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase could not connect. They took Jamar Chase out of the game, which is something that we've seen rarely in the NFL. So kudos to the Browns defense because they played a heck of a game. And the Browns, man, I mean, you look at that team, and unfortunately they could not get it done. They made some pretty good plays, but the Bengals were just too much for them. And the Bengals defense is what we're talking about today. The Bengals defense made a ton of big plays, many turnovers for us. They played very smart brand of football, and the Bengals escape Cleveland with a W. Jacksonville Jaguars look pretty good. The Panthers look really bad, but the Jags look good. Liam Cohen's team gets their first win. Trevor Lawrence did not play his best game, but the weapons that he has at his disposal should make it a lot easy for him. You have guys like Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr., Strange. You have a very talented receiving core in there. You also have De'Ami Brown. You also have Travis Etienne, who looked good. He looked very good. You have talent on that Jacksonville team, so I'm excited to see how the Jags move forward. The Panthers, though, that's very demoralizing. It's a team I was very high on this upcoming year. I thought they had a lot of winnable games on the schedule, but hopefully Bryce Young picks it up. He started out slow last year. We'll see if that continues. Now, we're going to talk Bucks and Falcons. What a game, man. If that Sunday Night Football game did not happen, this game would be talked about a lot different because this game was awesome. You have these two teams that are trying to gun for the NFC South. The Falcons, man, Michael Penix Jr. is that damn guy. I love Michael Penix Jr. He is a lot of fun to watch, and I'm happy that he's balling. They have so many weapons. Kyle Pitts got involved. Drake London did his thing, but Bijan Robinson was the leading receiver for them. He played a phenomenal game there, and Tyler Algier actually got a lot of carries, which surprised me, but they really are committed to that even split. Not we're overworking Bijan, but Bijan got a lot of receiving yards, and he played great. The Bucks defense, I'm surprised, got lit up like that. But the offense, man, Emeka Egbuka in his first game, a guy I'm super high on, dominated. 2 touchdowns. He knew what he's doing. He looked very, very good for them. And people forget about him because he played with a guy named Jeremiah Smith. But he is a damn stud, and it was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal game. Bucky Irvin played well too. Look at all this. And you see the Bucks are just ultra talented on offense. Once they get Tristan Wirfs back, they are one of the best offenses in football, in my opinion. And I'm excited to see how these teams, move forward towards, later on in the year. I'm excited to see the rematch because this game was just fun. Yonwei Koo just couldn't make that field goal to send it to overtime. We could have got some free football, man. But that was just an insane game. Michael Penix Jr. made a bunch of big-time plays, and he's a guy that was super high on coming out of college, so I like seeing him succeed. Kyle Pitts, it looks like he's starting to get comfortable with a quarterback. So the Falcons have a lot of talent on that team, and they're only going to get better. The ceiling for them is limitless. You never know how they could be. So I'm excited to see that Falcons team. Now, the last team that we will talk about is the Packers. The Packers look pretty damn good. The Packers look pretty damn good versus that Detroit Lions team. They out-physicaled them, which is something that we have not seen in a while because that Detroit Lions team was physical. Very physical these past couple of years. Dan Campbell leads a physical brand of football. But, man, you could definitely tell the offensive line is not as good as it used to be. Frank Ragnow's absence was definitely missed. Penny Sewell versus Micah Parsons was a very good matchup. Micah Parsons actually played a pretty good game. But now the Packers are going on a short week. And I'm pretty sure they are playing at home versus Washington, so that's going to be a very fun matchup. But, the key takeaway was the Lions getting out physical because that's something that we have not seen in a while. The Packers' offense was very, very good. But I'm excited to see, how these teams get. I'm excited to see how the Lions do because the Lions have not, without Ben Johnson, they have not been very successful. Jared Goff, I saw someone's like without Ben Johnson, Sean McVay's like 0-16 as an offensive coordinator or calling plays or whatever, which is crazy. I don't know how true that is, but if that is true, that is ridiculous. And Jared Goff, the team did not look very good. So, when you limit a team like the Lions with all that firepower, that is definitely a very good week from the Packers defense. And, I mean, it was a domination all the way around. So the Packers look very good, and they are probably my top team. On my power ranks, if I had to do a power ranking, they'd probably be the best team to me, because I think that they completely dominated the Lions, who are a very quality football team. Now we're going to talk next week. We're going to start with Thursday Night Football. We're going to stay on the Packers. They play the Washington Commanders at Lambeau Field. Man, this is going to be a fun matchup. Jane Daniels under the lights of Thursday night player. Absolute dog. And then you have the Green Bay Packers, who looked phenomenal. I'm going to cut to the chase. I think the Packers win this game. I think they cover 2.5. I don't know about 3.5. That's a lot of points. You never know with the field goals and whatnot. But I think the Packers get it done, man, because this Packers team looked great. They are at home. Lambeau is going to be juvenated. They're going to be super hyped up. And, man, this is a big-time game, prime-time matchup. Jordan Love has looked good, and I think that the Washington Commanders are in for a surprise, man. I think that I liked what they did. They helped with the offensive line, getting Laremy Tunsil. But I think there's still some holes on that team, and I think that the Packers are going to make it very difficult for Jane Daniels and friends. But you never know. They looked very good last week. They beat the Giants. Very good defense. Very good defense that the Giants have. So we will see, man. This could be an interesting matchup, but I am going to take the Packers here. Now, we're going to be talking Bears versus Lions. Bears versus Lions. We're staying in the NFC North. Ben Johnson goes back to Detroit. Obviously, they know each other very well there. And then Ben Johnson, after choking away that game, how's he going to play versus the Lions, who got manhandled? Very interesting matchup to see where both teams are at, because both teams, probably felt like they, didn't give it their all and didn't have the best performance out there. But, the Lions are still the Lions. Don't get me wrong, they're at Ford Field. I expect them to win this game. I think they'll cover the spread. The Bears just, I don't know, man, unless the Lions are just that bad. But the Bears just, too many crucial mistakes. They're going to have to, fix that. Especially when your defense plays that good of a game. Their defense played a great game through 3 quarters. They made a ton of plays. They scored a touchdown. Really did all you can ask from a defense, and the offense just could not help them out whatsoever. So how will the Lions defense do versus the Bears offense? How will Ben Johnson do versus Dan Campbell and Dan Campbell's team? This can be very fun to see. A big game, a lot of emotions filled up probably for Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Lions offense. Even the Lions team, man. That guy left them. They're probably like, damn, I love Ben Johnson. They're probably all like that. And the Bears are going to be fired up to play for Ben Johnson. So it's going to be a very fun matchup. If I had to pick, I'd probably take the Lions to cover the spread. But, man, this is going to be a game that I'm not going to touch, because I have no idea what goes on in this one. This is going to be one heck of a game, though, and I'm excited to see who comes out on top. Now, Steelers-Hawks. Steelers-Hawks, Aaron Rodgers, and the Steelers have a chance to beat the Seahawks. I mean, be frankly honest with you, I think they will do it. I think that the Steelers team is legit as they come, especially when the defense starts to get going. The Seahawks offense didn't really look the best last week. I think the Steelers defense will be able to stop the run. They have struggled with it. They did struggle last year, and they did struggle week 1. So hopefully they are going to fix that, because they can fix that. That defense is dominant. They have a pass rush. They have a secondary. If they can do that, they will fix a lot of problems. But you never know, because they have 2 talented running backs over there in Seattle, Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. Their receiving core is pretty solid with Kupp and JSN. You have all that talent, so we'll see, man. This is going to be a dogfight. I expect Steelers to cover the spread, though. Confident about that one. I think the Steelers will get the job done in Seattle, or in Pittsburgh. Steel City. They're going to be going crazy for the opener. Yeah, give me Steelers, man. Now, Eagles-Chiefs, biggest game of the week, Super Bowl rematch, and I'm riding with the Eagles here. I think the Eagles will get the job done. I think the Chiefs are nearly not even close to where they were these past couple of years. The secondary looks completely weak. They look weak. I think they'll be able to stop the run and give Saquon a tough time, but I think A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith will feast. I think that the Eagles are on a lot, big rest. I think that they will win this game. This is going to be a tough one, though. It's going to be a tough one, because you never know with Patrick Mahomes, man. Patrick Mahomes, they're going to be bitter for revenge. But after seeing both teams in week 1, I severely lean towards the Eagles. They get Jalen Carter back. The Chiefs just aren't what they were. The secondary is just completely gone, man. And that just kills your back end of your football team, because Justin Herbert, Quinn Johnson was completely demolishing them. Imagine A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. Come on, give me the Eagles here. No doubt about it. I'm taking the Eagles to beat the Chiefs. Now, we will talk Falcons-Vikings, another big matchup. Man. J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix Jr., I'm taking J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings. I'm taking the Vikings here. I'm a big Vikings believer after Monday Night Football. Brian Flores, one of the best coordinators in the game. I mean, I would know, Dolphins fan. Guy coached a damn defense. He can coach a defense. He has a bunch of studs on the defense. He should have Harrison Smith back. You have all your pieces in the chess piece back. You're going to have all your guys to play, and this is going to be huge for them. They're going to do a lot of dynamic stuff. Michael Penix Jr. confused. And I think that the Falcons have a ton of talent on offense, but I think that the Vikings will make it very tough for them. I expect the Vikings to win this game. J.J. McCarthy should be able to, have a good day versus this Falcons team that isn't the best on defense. So I expect them to win this game. This should be a heck of a game. I'm excited because this is primetime football, baby. J.J. McCarthy goes 2 weeks on primetime football. I think he'll be more composed this time. Give me the Vikings to win this game. Man, our last our game of the week that we will be talking about is the Dolphins versus Patriots. I mean, I'm a Dolphins fan. I got to talk about it here. I seriously can't pick the Dolphins after last week because of how bad they looked. But the Patriots didn't have the best game either. They played the Raiders. They struggled a lot. Drake May didn't play his best game. Will Campbell got shoved in the locker a lot, but he's not being going against Max Crosby at all. He's being going against a Dolphins defense that could not get the Colts off the field. Mike Vrabel is in Foxborough. He's in New England. The game is in Miami, though, which the Patriots do tend to struggle in Miami. It is in early, September, so the weather is going to be the Dolphins' favor. I would like to pick the Dolphins here, but, I got to pick the Dolphins here. I'm going to pick the Dolphins here, but Patriots are a capable football team. They should have Christian Gonzalez back. They should have, they have the defense. The Dolphins severely struggled against the Colts. They are going to take away the middle of the field, and the Dolphins know that. Teams know that. So it will be interesting to see if Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer make adjustments, because if they lose this game and then they go and lose to Buffalo on Thursday Night Football on the short week, there are some questions. There are some serious questions to be asked. You get a long week. Would the Dolphins fire Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel after week 3? That's a question that I'm interested in, because you have Anthony Weaver who could run the football team, but what will happen? That is the question. They're playing for their careers here. They're playing for their jobs here. How long do they want to stay in South Beach? It's going to be a very important game for both those guys. I expect the Dolphins to come out and know that, and I think that they get it done, especially after a horrendous week 1 showing. I expect the Dolphins to win this game, but the Patriots are a tough football team. They're physical, and I expect them to give the Dolphins a true fight. They haven't beat the Dolphins in Miami in a few years, so it should be an interesting game. Now, we're going to do the Dogs of the Week, baby. The Dogs of the Week, the top 5 guys that earn this list. Any sport, they played their butts off, and they were the dogs, man. They're looking at the guy like, damn, that guy is a damn canine. He is a dog. Respect is given, and that is true. It's earned. It's earned by these guys, but you got to give them their respect because they earned it. Honorable mention, Carlos Alcaraz, whatever you say his name, the tennis player, winning the U.S. Open, beating his rival, Johnny Skinner. That was a heck of a tournament from them. Those two guys are just competitive, man, and they win every single major. It's ridiculous. So, credit to him because he played a hell of a tournament, and now it is time to get in the top 5. There's no rankings for this. These are my top 5. Biden Brown is going to be on this list. Can't go into the swamp, claim a W, eat the W, and not be on this list, man. USF Bulls got to be on this list. It's the second time making this list in the series. He played a great game. He had a touchdown pass, played very smart with the football, had a couple big runs on some big plays, played very smart, and going to the swamp, draining the swamp like that, Biden Brown, you are a damn dog. You are on this list. Now, we're going to the NFL. We're going to jump to the NFL here, and we are going to talk Joshua Allen. Josh Allen, what a game from the stud, man. Leading the Bills back against one of the best teams in the NFL, the Ravens. In Buffalo, man, the fans were just going crazy, and Josh Allen has been talking all that. Before the season, I saw him saying that the fans of Buffalo deserve a Super Bowl, and I agree, man. I agree. They're some of the best fans of sports, and he is really trying to do that. He's going to do whatever to get that Super Bowl, and he is going to show you that he is the most talented quarterback and the most valuable quarterback in football, and he did it once again in Week 1. I don't care what stats other quarterbacks puts up. There's no more valuable quarterback in the NFL than Josh Allen, and he's going to prove that every single weekend. He's so talented. He makes plays. He's a winner, and that's what he's done his whole entire career, and man, it was just crazy. That stadium erupted. Mr. Brightside was playing, and the Bills come out on top. Josh Allen has to get it for leading a legendary NFL comeback. Now, we're going to jump. We're going to jump to Seattle, or shall I say San Francisco. The man, fantasy legend Christian McCaffrey, has to be on this list. He put the team on his back. When he plays, he's the best running back in football. Derrick Henry's pretty good, but they're up there. And Saquon is very good too. When he plays, he's one of the best running backs in football. He puts the team on his back. He did it. I think he had 34 opportunities between targets and rushes, and the team was not helping him. Run blocking was not very good for San Francisco, but when the game mattered most, 4th down, where Brock Purdy went? Right to Christian McCaffrey. He gave him the chance, and Christian McCaffrey made the play. He is just the guy. He's the guy for them, and, coming off the injuries, coming off all this from the offseason, can Christian McCaffrey still do it? Proving people that he can still do it in Week 1. He deserves to be on this list. Now, going back to college football, I know I've been all over the place with this Dogs of the Day or Dogs of the Week list, but got to go to the man out of Oklahoma, John Mateer. John Mateer leading a W over Michigan, showing that Oklahoma is here and they are here to stay. And now John Mateer is putting himself in the NFL draft talks. He's putting himself in this Heisman NFL draft talks. This guy's putting himself on a list, not an Epstein list, a draft list. All right, he's putting himself on a very good list, very good company, and now he's a guy that's proven himself. He's a potential Cam Ward guy. I mean, he's a potential guy that could jump up to that number one pick. He has all the talent. He's ultra talented. He can move. He can throw. He can do it all, and he led them over a W over Michigan. He's proven that this SEC Oklahoma is feasible for them and that they have the ability to do it. John Mateer has to be on this list. He is a damn dog. And now the last one of the week. Last one of the week for the dogs of the week, and I know there's a lot of different options that I had, and it was very tough to pick it out. There's a lot of players that had a lot of heroics. Iowa State's kicker, that was a guy that I really considered putting on here. Matt Prater coming off the red eye, but you gotta give credit where credit's due. J.J. McCarthy, man, J.J. McCarthy. I'm repping Chicago, like the Bears, but man, gotta give credit where credit's due. That guy looked adversity in the face. He threw that pick six. He was probably like. He was damned. He was damned, but he went over on the sideline. He took command. He did not quit. He did not give up. And 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter for J.J. McCarthy. 2 passing, 1 rushing. That guy balled. He put the team on his back when it mattered most. He threw some laser beams. He wasn't throwing no little ducks that were floating. He was throwing damn bolts to Justin Jefferson. That deserves it, man. That deserves recognition. Beating a team on the road on Monday Night Football when all the pressure's on you. If you lose the game, it's like, all right, it's your first start. But he said, no, I'm not losing the game. I don't lose games. He put the team on his back. He made all the plays. And J.J. McCarthy is your last damn dog of the week, man. He is a damn dog. But that is going to wrap up Sports for Casuals episode 2, man. I had a blast filming this. I had a blast just talking sports, man. I enjoy it. I'm expecting to get some people on here in the next couple of weeks, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. We'll get some more people on here. Still getting comfortable with the whole show topic, getting used to just talking to a camera and just doing all that stuff. But man, I'm enjoying the heck out of it. So if you are new here, make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure to like the video and comment any recommendations or feedback down below. That'd be much appreciated. I appreciate the heck out of you guys. It means the absolute world to me when you guys interact with me and click on these videos. I appreciate you guys and hope to see you guys in the next one. It's your boy, Sports for Casuals, A Sawman, and we're closing it out. Episode 2. Peace.